Assalamualaikum and good day. So right now for the third part, okay, it's gonna be for this type of question. Okay, example. So let's say when we try to determine the value of limit px over qx when x approaches a, we have 0 over 0, which is indeterminate form, and one of these px or qx involves radical. Okay, what we need to do is first we need to multiply the whole equation here with the conjugate. Okay, and then we need to factorize if needed and cancel the common factor. Okay, then only you can substitute the value of a. Okay, and next, okay, what is conjugate? Okay, conjugate is negating the second term of a binomial. Binomial means we just have two terms in an equation. Okay, for example, this one is the first term and this is the second term. So does this one. Okay, 4 is the first term and root of x minus 2 is the second term. Okay, it goes on here lah. Okay, and then here conjugate is negating. Okay, negative, we actually change the sign of the second term. Okay, so here is root x plus 3. The conjugate would be root x minus 3. Okay, that will be the conjugate then. Okay, and this one 4 minus root x minus 2. The conjugate is 4 plus root of x minus 2. As you can see here, I just changed the sign for the second term. That means the sign in front of the second term. Anything inside the radical will stay the same. Nothing changed there. Okay. And for the third one, 6 minus root 1 minus 2x squared. As I mentioned earlier, nothing changed in the radical. So we just change the sign in front of the second term. Okay. Here it will be 6 plus root of 1 minus 2x squared. Okay. For the fourth one, here we have root of 3x minus 5. But as you can see, this is not a binomial because we only have one term. But it can also be regarded as a binomial. Let's say if we assume there is another constant here which is 0 plus 0. So the conjugate obviously will be plus going to be negative, which means root of 3x minus 5 minus 0. But since 0 is actually 0, nothing. Therefore, for this type of radical, the conjugate is the radical itself. So, root of 3x minus 5, the conjugate is root of 3x minus 5. Because we assume that at the end we have plus minus 0. So, this one is still going to be plus minus 0. Okay, which doesn't affect the equation actually. Okay, let's look at a few examples. Okay, if I'm not mistaken, there are going to be 3 examples. Okay, here, the first one. Limit root of x minus 1 over x squared minus 1 when x approaches 1. Okay, as you can see, I have substituted the value 1 here in x. Okay, so here we have root of 1 minus 1, 1 squared minus 1, which is 0 over 0. It is an indeterminate form. Okay, and next, we need to multiply it with the conjugate. So here is our numerator here involves radical. So that means we need to multiply with the conjugate of the numerator. It will be root of x plus 1. We need to write root of x plus 1 over root of x plus 1 because this will be an addition to our equation. Any addition should be equal to 1. So that's why we need to write it like this. Okay. Next, multiply this equation with the conjugate. You just need to expand the numerator or denominator that you multiply with the conjugate. Okay, the other one, you just need to rewrite it again, like this. Okay, nothing changed here. You just need to multiply this term and this term. And remember to put each terms in bracket. Okay, this one will be root of x minus 1 times root of x plus 1 is going to be x minus 1. Because, let me explain it a bit. Root of x minus 1 times root of x plus 1, we just expand it normally. Okay, so root of x times root of x is going to be x. Because x power of half times x power of half is equal to x. Half plus half is equal to x power of 1. Okay, that's why it's become x. Okay, next. Root of x plus 1 times positive 1 is going to be root of x. Minus 1 times root of x, so negative root of x. Negative 1 times plus 1 is going to be negative 1. So here, x, it can be simplified into x minus 1. Because here, positive root x minus root x is going to be 0. Okay, because we assume, maybe it's easier for you to understand, but assuming that root of x equal to y, so positive y minus y is going to be 0. Okay, so here we have x minus 1. Okay, another thing that can be explained to make it simpler for you is this one. Okay, let's say we have these vectors a minus b, a plus b. Because I think you are familiar with these vectors. So a minus b, a plus b is equal to a squared minus b squared. Okay, this one. Therefore, a is root of x. Root of x power of 2 is equal to x. Okay, root of x power of 2. X power of half power of 2 is going to be equal to, x power of 1. Okay, and then minus b squared. Okay, minus b is 1. 1 power of 1 is 1. Okay, I hope I actually have completed the explanation for how we get this kind of terms. Okay, so next, what do we need to do? Okay, here, as you can see, we have actually expanded the conjugate, but there is no common factor that we can cancel out. So you need to factorize these terms, this factor, x squared minus 1, and it will be x minus 1 and x plus 1. And from then on, we can actually cancel out the common factor, which is x minus 1. And we are left with this function. Okay, limit 1 over in bracket x plus 1 in bracket root of x plus 1 when x approaches 1. Substitute the value of 1 in x here, and we have 1 over 1 plus 1 in bracket times root of 1 plus 1 in bracket. Okay, and we have the final answer 1 over 4. Okay. Okay, move on to the next example. We have here limit 2 minus root of 6 minus x over x cubed minus 2x squared when x approaches 2. Okay, when we substitute the value of 2 here, 6 minus 2 is 4, so root of 4 is 2. 2 minus 2 is 0. And here, 2 cubed minus 2 times 2 squared is also equal to 0. So this is indeterminate form. Therefore here, since it involves a radical, we need to multiply the function with the conjugate. Okay, with its conjugate. So 2 minus root 6 minus x, the conjugate is 2 plus root of 6 minus x. Okay, multiply with the conjugate, remember to write it like this. Okay, it should be equal to 1 here. And then expand. Okay, we expand only the numerator because it involves multiplication of the conjugate. For the denominator, you just need to factorize here. Factorize whatever function that you have and rewrite the conjugate beside it. Okay, remember to write everything in bracket. Okay, because it is important and compulsory. Okay, we expand the numerator. We have 2 times 2 is equal to 4. And here minus, remember, a minus b times a plus b is equal to a squared minus b squared. Okay, and then minus, remember to put it, to write the next term in bracket. So 6 minus x in bracket here, because root of 6 minus x times root of 6 minus x is equal to 6 minus x. Okay, and next, okay, simplifying the numerator here, we have negative 2 plus x, because 4 minus 6 is negative 2, negative x is positive x. Okay, cancel the common factor, which is right now negative 2 plus x is the same as x minus 2. Okay, and then we are left with this equations, okay, function, limit 1 over x squared in bracket 2 plus root of 6 minus x when x approaches 2. Substitute the value of 2. We have 1 over 2 squared in bracket 2 plus root of 6 minus 2 and calculate. You will have 1 over 4 times 4. It will be 1 over 16. Okay. Okay. Limit x squared plus 4x plus 3 over root of x plus 3 when x approaches negative 3. As you can see here, when I substitute the value, we get 0 over 0, which is indeterminate form. Okay. And the radical is this one. Okay, we need to multiply with its conjugate. Okay, I have explained it earlier in the video. So the conjugate is the radical itself. Okay. And thus, we have here, this one I factorize it because as you can see, obviously we need to factorize this equation, this quadratic equation. So here it x plus 1, x plus 3. And we just need to multiply with this radical. And the one that we need to expand is only in the denominator because the radical is in denominator. Okay, expand only where the radical is. Okay, if the radical is in the numerator, expand the numerator. If the radical is in the denominator, expand the denominator. While the vice part, you need to just rewrite it and remember to write it in bracket for each term. Okay, so next, this common factor can be cancelled out. So we are left with these functions. Substitute the value of negative 3 and hence we get the final answer, which is 0. Okay, the last one. Okay, the last one here, we have limit x plus 1 over 3 minus root of x squared plus 8 when x approaches negative 1. Okay, I did substitute the value of negative 1 in x, and here we have 0 over 0, which is indeterminate form. Okay, next, limit here for x plus 1 over 3 minus root of x squared plus 8 when x approaches negative 1. We need to multiply with the conjugate, which is this one. Okay. This is the conjugate. Okay, remember, it should be written like this. Okay, next, expand the denominator or numerator. Okay, we need to expand the denominator. Why? Because the radical is in the denominator. For the numerator part, we just need to rewrite each term in bracket. Okay, so right now, x plus 1 in bracket again, 3 plus root of x squared plus 8. And here, expand. 3 power of 2 is 9. Minus. Okay, it's not because this is minus. But remember it again. A minus b, a plus b. Recall this one is equal to a squared minus b squared. Okay, so a is 3. So 3 squared is 9. Minus, because this is minus here. Okay, and then next, b squared. B is root of x squared plus 8, which means here is x squared plus 8. Okay, and then you need to expand or should I say simplify. Okay, simplify here. And you will have 9 minus 8 is equal to 1. 1 minus x squared. Okay, that's why I said it before in the previous example. It is important for you to write in bracket after the negative sign. Okay, let's say if you forget to write these terms in bracket, it's going to be 9 plus 8, right? 17 minus x squared. Obviously, you can't cancel any common factor. And you are stuck there. Okay? Please remember, after negative, you need to write the terms in bracket when you expand the conjugate. Okay? So next. This one is x plus 1 in bracket. Multiply with 3 plus x squared plus 8 in bracket. And the one in the denominator is 1 minus x squared, which can be factorized into 1 minus x, 1 plus x. Remember once again, this is the same as what I wrote earlier. Okay, a squared minus b squared here. It's gonna be a minus b, a plus b, right? So please take note, the a is 1, so 1 minus x, 1 plus x. Let's say if you want to write x minus 1, x plus 1, it is still true as long as you write negative at the front. Okay? Next, cancel out the common factor. Okay, I think it's better for me to use another type of color. So this one, and we are left with this equation only to solve. Okay, so limit 3 plus root of x plus a divide by 1 minus x when x approaches negative 1. Okay, substitute the value of negative 1 here in x. Okay, solving the equation, we have 3 plus 3, which is 6, and 1 plus 1 is 2, so the final answer is 3 here. Okay, hopefully this 4 example can help you further understand how to solve indeterminate form involving radicals. Okay, thank you class. Assalamualaikum and have a nice day.